Hey guys, quick little video today that can briefly be summarized with the image that you see there with using my expert paint skills. So I was doing some extensive research and just experimentation to figure out the Faceoff system. I had a good idea of it, but I thought that there were some special scenarios. Turns out it's just simple rock, paper, and scissors. I thought that like if you had a forehand, like basic forehand face-off maneuver go against a basic backhand face-off maneuver is going to be something completely different. Turns out that is not the case. If you just know how to do a basic face-off win, a basic tie-up, and a basic stick lift, then the forehand-backhand doesn't make a difference. It's just, it helps you pass to whoever you want it to pass to. So if you want to pass it to your left winger or your right winger, it makes it easier if you're on your backhand or on your forehand. So if like two people go for a stick lift at the same time and one's doing the backhand stick lift or one's doing kind of like the pushback that I was showing in the other video, it's just the toss-up. And that goes for anything. If two people tie each other up, it's a toss-up. If two people go for the basic forehand or basic backhand, it's a toss-up. So I want you guys to keep that in mind when it comes to this rock, paper, scissors stuff. Because if you see someone like, you know, win a face-off when you don't think they should, well, that's what's pretty much going to happen. And again, this ties in with like all the other information that I was talking about in the other face-off video, where like fatigue makes a big difference, your face-off rating, and things of that nature. So all of this plays into effect, but I did want to post this video about the Faceoff chart so you guys to just understand what beats what. The other face-off maneuvers where you shoot off the face-off or you deke off the face-off, they'll only work if your player has a much higher face-off rating than the opponent, or if they're just not like doing anything. So they'll only work against pretty much basic beginner players. Now, going into advanced face-off tips and tricks and stuff, I want to mention that like each advanced player, high-level player in the game, they kind of have their own little pattern as to how they take face-offs. For example, something that I always like to do in defensive zone is to protect against the tie-up face-off, because that's very deadly if someone ties you up in your zone, because they're able to have like a quick second or two just having to puck by themselves, and they're able to do whatever they want. So I protect myself against that by just going with a basic forehand or basic backhand just to protect myself from something like that. You'll notice that many like beginner players or just like medium skill players, I guess, will always go for the same face-off maneuver. So what you can do is you can just counter them with a simple maneuver and just keep going for that until they start to switch things up. And they'll probably they probably won't be sure like what's going on. But for high-level players, you kind of need to figure out what their pattern is, and you need to try to get your own little counter pattern going on to try to beat them. So for instance, instead of going clockwise on this chart, what you can do is you can go counterclockwise whenever you beat someone, or you can do that like pretty much every face-off maneuver, switch things up. You can do like patterns of twos. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. In fact, you can even write down like a list of the face-off maneuvers that you're gonna do in a game, and then just go down the list one by one every face-off. Like that's like the simplest thing that you could do, just so that it's like kind of completely random as to whether or not you'll win or lose. Other thing is you can just be in the other person's head and just know what they're gonna do, so you can counter them. Hopefully this information has been helpful to you guys. Sorry that has to look like so basic with this video, with the picture. I definitely had a lot more planned, but I mean, once I figured out it was a lot more basic than it looks. You know, I had to go with something like this. In the future, when I'm going to do something like this for NHL like 18, I'll be sure to include it in the original Face-Off video. So thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you next time.